Hi guys, today's YouTube video is all about money and relationships, and I'm actually going to do two parts. So this first section, or part one, is really all about the meaning of money and how to start having conversations about money, like the back part of what we need to come to understand about ourselves and our partner. Then the part two of money and relationships is really going to be about how to talk about money, whether it's the day-to-day or how to create financial goals. So again, today, part one is really talking about the meaning of money. So the other day I did a seminar on this topic, and it was interesting when I asked people to tell me what the meaning of money was. Most of them talked about it as it's symbolic of things that they're afraid of, or that money is evil, or that it's, just a sign of being a provider, like being able to provide for your family. And every person in the room had a different meaning or a different context of what money meant to them. And so I took that as, I think if all of us answered that question, what's the meaning of money, just like in the group, we would all have a different, understanding or a different meaning behind it. And so in a relationship, it's important to first understand that, that you both have a different understanding of the meaning of money. And so when you come together and you start to talk about money, whether it's you're getting ready to get married, or you're getting ready to have a kid, or whatever that is, you first understand the meaning of it. And I do have to say, money doesn't have to be evil. I was surprised at people's responses that it's this evil thing. People just don't like to talk about money. In fact, they like to talk about sex more than they like to talk about money. It's like this awkward thing we've made in our society that we don't talk about money at all. And really it's, in that context, it's just changing your relationship to money. It doesn't have to be this evil thing where if we have too much, then, bad things are going to happen, or we shouldn't have too much, or, we don't have enough. And, so we just get caught up in that, like, space of, money is evil. It doesn't have to be evil. So again, going back to our relationships is, how we come to understand the meaning of money to our partner. And then from that, we go to, talking about how we grew up and the meaning of money in our families. And really, this is such an important topic because according to Dr. Gottman's, in one of Dr. Gottman's books, which, by the way, I highly recommend, 8 Dates. I know I've said it before, but there's a date in here all about money and work, and it's a fabulous chapter that helps guide you. In this book, he talks about a study that was done that marriage and finances, really finances is the number one, the number one fight in relationships, and it's actually a predictor of divorce. And so, if we constantly fight about money and we don't come up with a plan, on top of sex, drugs and alcohol, in-laws, and parenting. And so it's really looking at, again, the meaning of money, and then the, how we understand ourselves and our relationship to money, and how our family grew up with money, or, talked about money, and also how we, how we understand, like, how our partner grew up around money. So oftentimes I tell couples to sit down and have a conversation with your partner just about that, our family history about money. And in the book, 8 Dates, he actually gives you some really good questions to ask. But they're questions like, how your parents talked about money, how you learned about money. Did you ever hear them talk about investing, or is that something they talked to you about? Did you have an allowance when you were a kid? Did you hear how even your grandparents, how they talked about money? Or, what were the things that, like how it was communicated? Do your parents still talk to you about money? And do they talk to you about work ethic? How did you learn about managing money? And even in the group that I did, as people were giving me feedback of what they were learning about their partners, even the married couples who have kids, the question that I asked them is, what kind of legacy are you creating for your own kids around money? So when we can have these good discussions with our partner, then we're able to really have a deep and better understanding of how our partner sees money, and it can also lead us to what would be some financial goals that we want to have. The other thing in Gottman's book, 8 Dates, that he brought up that I thought was a really great topic of conversation with couples is, what is enough? What is enough money? And he talks about the difference between men and women when we kind of ask ourselves that question. And just to highlight, like for women, what is enough means really love, respect, and security. And for men, he talked about it symbolizes power, competence, responsible, being a provider. So when you think about it, ask your partner, what is enough? What is it enough money? What does it mean to you? And again, how do we take these 3 topics and have a conversation to create financial goals, or to get to how do we talk about money in our relationship? So again, this is just part 1, and it's kind of an overview of, I guess you could call it the setup of talking about money in your relationship. So we have a good general understanding of how we see money in our relationship with money, as well as how our partner sees money in their relationship with money. Whether it's the meaning of it, our family histories, and really what is enough. And that can lead us to how we talk about it, whether it's creating a budget, our financial goals, or when we come to argue about it. So in part 2, that's actually what I'll be talking about. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get weekly updates all about relationships, and tune in for the next video on money and relationships and how to talk about it. Have a great day.